Is there,
We're going to switch here.
Oh, it's on. Let me try something here. That might have done it.
Something sounded.
Okay. We have magic.
It's still working. Is that,
Yeah.
it's not, we're on captions?
Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion to open the meeting.
I second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Coe,
Aye.
trustee Marshall, Mayor Plummer.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Well, this is an emergency meeting, so I don't know if there's anything to disclose.
No.
Yeah, so the purpose of this meeting is to discuss, a safety and security issue for this building and for our staff. Do we need to do meeting guidelines?
No, I think we're
I
good.
think it's, yeah, just kind of an emergency meeting. Do you want to just relate a little bit of what happened, Dorothea, because you were here for this? This happened
Yes.
last week.
Last week we had a gentleman come into the office. Later we identified him as a First Amendment auditor. I gave the board a self-appointed, yes, there we go.
Self-appointed.
I've also presented the board with some policies we're hoping to enact, and Jeff can touch on that. The interaction was not good. On the way he presented himself, the situation that happened was captured and redubbed and redone, and it's a wonderful YouTube video. The staff has been under an onslaught since. Does not stop.
Yeah, when you say onslaught, so it's been, there've been phone calls, threats,
Phone calls, threats, emails,
emails.
Facebook.
How many calls have you gotten, Steve? Roughly
25,
25, 30, just
at
keeps
least.
happening, yeah,
I've probably gotten 20 emails that are brutal.
yeah.
nasty.
Do you specifically or do Village Hall?
Well, they're to the building inspector.
It's singling him out.
And
He's
I
being
got
sing-
my cell phone number,
Yeah, so they called him at 1 a.m, it's harassment.
12:44 in the morning,
Yeah, so,
calling me every name in the book.
yeah,
I would say just on the village, on my side, between the village and the village email, I've had almost 100. Some included FOIL requests, some teaching me lessons. Other, it's the phone calls. You can't even get a word in, they just
Is
unacceptable,
this the same person with the same numbers?
it's from all over the world.
all over,
All over.
all over.
And is this happening just in the last?
It's been happening since last week, since the video posted.
When they left here, they went to East Rochester and I believe
Henrietta, and I think they went to one other village, maybe Churchville. I could be wrong on that. Don't hold me on that. They hit 4 villages. They hit 4 people, yeah, that day. We were the lucky ones. The sheriffs were called and involved. So they are taking the brunt of this as well. It's very concerning. Everybody knows we have a very open office. And for the most part, I've always said that's a wonderful thing. When you hear our door ding, everybody braces, and I don't think I'm mislabeling that. I think that's correct.
Everybody's on it.
It's not a matter of if they come back, it's when they come back. They will be back. We've been warned they're coming back. So,
And this has been, a person who lives in this region, who activates other people. And, I believe they've been known to the sheriff's department for a number of years. It's also understanding that they were part of the insurrection at the Capitol. And so it's kind of an ongoing sort of form of harassment.
I don't want it to be
Yeah.
out there. The village hall isn't willing to assist, do whatever, file FOIL, talk to residents.
Yeah.
There's never been an issue. There was no, I would say, working with this individual.
Mhm.
we were set to have this happen. So now we need to take steps to protect the staff. Um,
And the other public.
and the public.
Yeah.
I would have felt it, I can't even put into words my feelings over this, but I can't even imagine if we had a resident in the hall at that time.
Yeah,
We actually had to go into a lockdown.
yeah. The
So-
building was locked down for several hours that day, and that was at the request of the sheriff's department to do so.
Yeah.
And we probably would have done it anyway. And the calls were so bad and coming with such great frequency the following morning that we just made sure that everything went directly to voicemail, so all the calls could be screened by staff. So,
And it's just so the board is aware, the calls each have been screened. No call is just ignored. We have to listen to that
Mhm.
because we have to make sure it's not a resident. We have to go through every one of those emails I've received
yeah,
with whatever has to be reviewed in case there's a foil or there's some other thing in there we have to respond to. So
yeah,
it's not ending for us. So just so you know,
it's ongoing.
it's ongoing,
And we
you know.
deactivated our Facebook page because they went after that as well, and we're posting pictures with Nazi symbols, you know, considered clearly threatening.
Yeah, it was very threatening. We tried to hide and make it better. You know, I wasn't looking to take down language. People are free to speak, you know, long as it's. We couldn't save the page. We're working to see what we can do. It might require us to do a new page.
Notably, your clerk was portrayed with a swastika on her chest.
Well,
Okay. Yeah, we're just reciprocating all this.
This is what they want. I'm just,
The guy makes money for his.
every time someone watches that video, he makes money. He's using staff images. This is the hard part for me. He's
Yeah.
taking my image and using it any way he chooses. I've lost control of my own picture. I have no control.
And we've filed reports with YouTube to have them investigate, to try to take the video down. So far they have not. But they have responded that they're investigating.
So.
Yeah.
So this is why we're here.
Yeah.
This is, you know, this is the staff who right now is having a hard time, having a very hard time.
So with that being said, I'm going to excuse you from the room because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to hear or see this video. But I'd like to play some of this so you both have an understanding of what has happened. So if you would
Yeah,
just step
thank
up
you.
for a minute. Yeah, thank you.
Is the posting one?
Yes,
Yeah,
this
so-
is currently,
Steve, if you want, I don't know how you know.
I watched it.
yeah, no, don't even.
Yeah.
Taking it down. They did. Wow,
Is this the original?
yes,
Great.
I'm gonna try to click on it one more time just in case, but they may have taken it down. Oh, wait a minute, nope, they did not.
Take any dirty surface, spray over the grease or mold.
I'm asking you to be detained. Alright, then I'm coming in this public office, it's open to the public. I am.
My sergeant, you have a bigger problem.
Oh, yeah, I think it is not private property, it is not private property, this is public property, this is village hall, this is not private property. You're stupid, you are stupid, yeah.
This is not open to the public.
This is the sheriff, they're now under the building.
You think that you can detain somebody without a crime? What makes you think you can do that? Honestly. Photographs.
Okay, this was it.
Okay, well, no photos of the staff, please, okay?
Oh, yeah.
No photos of the staff, where's the frame? What's the frame that you're referencing, when you find photos?
Everything that I can see. My frame is everything that I can see. I acknowledge that you already have said it and I'm denying it.
Well, I deny you, so. please-
You need a release to use our papers or something?
No, it's America.
These kids want to have this school. Will go to them in the bathroom.
Well, I think you get the idea, and it goes on and really escalates, and he uses curse words and epithets. About staff in the video, and it's still posted online, evidently. So,
You don't want that here over the speaker
yeah, you know, they get the idea. So. Yeah,
He was pushing the sheriff's enough, is it?
yeah, he was, yeah, yeah.
That lets you know his relationship. That. He has or they have.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Sorry, everybody had to go through that, it's unacceptable by every possible benchmark. So going forward, you have kind of a draft of
Address.
some research that was done on.
Yep, we
policy.
reached out to the other Monroe County villages. Some villages did have some information, some didn't. As this is happening, a lot of villages are adding a lot more security. Definitely policies need to be in place. So what we're giving you is a draft. We're not asking you to approve this tonight. We understand you're just seeing it.
Mhm.
We just wanted to give you something to look at and understand. We're asking that you let Jeff review and make a recommendation to the board.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Will this be on the agenda for Tuesday?
Yes. We are, and I know this, I understand these things take time, but we feel like we
There's
don't
an
have much time.
imperative. Yeah, there's an imperative here, I think, for the board to take some type of action and formulate, you know, protocols, policy, and also really address any security issues in terms of physical security and safety
Mhm.
when people come into the building and in through the doors into the office. And so you have reached out to our
Yeah,
security.
we've
company.
reached out to the security. We'll have security recommendations for the next meeting as well. I hate to see it, but I don't see any other way. I really
Well,
don't.
Other villages. really
Yeah,
have-
no, we're one of the last to come to
Yeah.
the table on this.
Yeah,
They
they have cameras. they have
we're
monitors.
asking just for a few seconds.
Hmm.
You know, because there's so many things we have to judge when we're looking through that door when someone walks through.
Mhm.
And obviously, we were not prepared, not able to,
Yeah.
you know, control that situation.
And I think too, you know, you never really know because so many times it's such a beautiful building, people want to come in and they want to photograph it and it's so lovely.
All the
They
time.
want to look around and, you know, we want that. We want to share the beauty of the building. It's
All
a
the time.
municipal building. But it is that one time or that rare time when something like this happens and we have to make sure that I never want us to have to feel unsafe coming into work. I don't want anybody.
And I'm not discouraging people from doing that. I mean, that's
Yeah.
one of the best things we have is someone coming in and saying, oh, I went here when it was the library
Yeah.
and we take them in, we show them the stained glass. We let them take pictures. That is not uncommon and that is never been discouraged and never will. I
Mhm.
think, you know, this goes beyond that. This
Yeah.
isn't about that. It's not.
So can I just clarify, so what you guys have done already, with the sign on the door and having the door locked and only entrance?
Well, yeah,
Is that kind of represented in what you're planning on doing with this
a
policy?
little bit.
Is
I
there
think it's
anything
there.
that is not being done right now that you've already put in place?
Well, I think what we put in place is hopeful of you taking action. I think Jeff can explain that better.
That all of this requires policy on the part of the board of trustees to give it. The legal ability to be.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I
Nobody
mean,
has the ability to post any kind of. Do not enter, private space,
mhm.
authorized personnel only unless. This board adopts a policy that provides for it.
So, I mean, I think that the action really that we're looking for, this evening is really to direct Jeff to, you know, let's review this, let's see if he can draft a policy and bring it back
Mhm.
on the agenda, you know, for next week.
Mhm.
So we can move this forward a bit, and then by then we should have some quotes and financial information. And those quotes, because, they're very specific relative to secure aspects of security, will be sent to the board separately.
Yes, separate
And-
cover.
And it'll be confidential information for the board to review.
So I have another question, is I know that they targeted the village staff. Did they say anything about trustees? Do we need to be concerned about our trustee meetings? Sitting, I mean,
You-
where is that coming in?
Your
From
trust,
the same perspective.
They could come in and film.
Yeah.
they've always had the ability to come in
Always
and
had
film.
it.
And but anyway, it's the problem is when they cross the line, the decorum line. That was the real issue, is that you come in and you start. You know, belittling the staff, name calling,
Harassment.
you know, that's where I think the line is crossed, and I think then. You have a policy that's, you know, we're inviting you into this public space, but only so provided that you can act appropriately and with courtesy towards others. Once you stop doing that, then we're gonna withdraw our invitation and we're gonna ask you to leave.
And so that's what we're formalizing.
Right.
Yeah, there was some case law that I found in New York that had those thresholds of understanding. Typically, when it transitions from just spoken word to a threatening intent
Right,
or
right.
or a
Free speech
sense of
is
safety.
something that's not free speech. Classic case, you can't, fire and probably do.
Right, or even from what I could gather, it's that sense of, you know, a
Right.
belittling or belligerent behavior that's coupled with the language.
Right.
Where there's a discretion by the staff to then basically say this is no longer a public space.
Beltramos, Dorothy handed out is a very brief, good summary of the subject, so I really recommend it.
Yep.
All right, so so do we just have to make a motion to have Jeff take a look at what's been written up and put it into some kind of policy for us to be presented to our next board meeting? Is that how we move forward
Yeah.
on that?
Yeah.
Sure, let's do it.
So I make a motion to have our attorney, review the, policy that was put together by the village clerk and staff, and bring it back to our next board meeting, which is on
Tuesday.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
for the board to review and discuss and move forward. Do you have a second?
So,
Roll call.
Trustee Marshall.
Aye.
Trustee Cove.
Aye.
Mayor Plummer.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. The staff
Yes,
will appreciate you taking action.
As part of this, I'll probably have some discussions with the staff, just to
Mhm.
see what they're thinking. When we get this thing finalized,
We appreciate it.
in first draft form.
Jeff, one of the questions that I had is the recording element. If, as we do, we have public space and then private space or restricted space, but camera can go through air and record
Right.
into the
So-
restricted space.
So if you read Wade's article,
Yeah,
you can actually ban recording from this area out there.
because you're recording into restricted
Well,
space.
because you can just do that.
You can,
So we
Yeah.
just have it as a policy.
What
Yeah.
you won't be able to do is stop someone recording a public meeting.
sure.
Mhm.
Right, so,
Okay,
um,
makes sense.
Yeah, so as long as you have a policy in place.
but
then you
yeah, you
actually-
can't do it without the policy, that's the
Right.
keynote.
So you gotta have the
Or
policy.
keystone, I should say.
Okay, great.
I have a question though too, so, well, then actually the policy would address it if they can't record out there. Because we were talking about, what if you have open documents and there's work on your desk, those cameras can zoom in on,
Yeah, well, they're not, I mean, if you post appropriate signage,
it takes care of it
then
then.
they can't
Then
do
it's,
recording.
it is very,
Mhm.
okay, so that really kind of
Mhm.
solves it for us.
Yep.
You know, we always have work in progress, so, yeah.
I think one of the most disturbing things out of this is the Monroe County Sheriff response.
Yeah, it's-
They essentially walked away, left the guy here and told the staff to lock the doors.
Yeah, you
And
just
they
stayed in lockdown.
And they just,
Yeah.
they left him there. So he's going around trying doors and trying, looking at windows, and
Filming our
Film-
cars.
He filmed license plates in the parking
so
lot.
that's kind of
Mhm.
Did somebody,
disappointing.
did somebody talk to the sheriff's department and ask why?
They felt that it would de-escalate if they left. The problem is they left us in,
They had no follow-up.
we had no follow-up. So
They
we
didn't
were
know what-
still in we didn't know when they told us to lock down. We thought the situation was escalating further because it was already bad. We thought it was escalating further. So, everybody's just bracing themselves and then they're gone. I mean, I understand the thought process. I think you know,
Should have some follow-up. or
there
feedback.
was a call a half hour later, but it was a half hour later.
Yeah.
You know, in the meantime, this individual's still trying to get into the building.
Yeah, we're saying.
Right, just,
Yeah.
yeah, just have to.
But maybe they felt that it was still gonna escalate the situation, I don't know, but.
That component didn't make it to the video.
No, it did not. You know, there's a lot.
The video ended with him walking away after the police drove away, or.
Yeah, no, that misses
That
him running
misses-
around our building, trying to get through all our doors and
Right.
filming our cars. So, you
And
know,
that's stressful, I mean, you're locked in here and you're not sure what.
and
is
you're
gonna
not sure
hit.
what's going on. You're not
Yeah.
sure what to do. You know, I can't
Yeah,
explain.
Yeah,
sorry, guys, I had to go through that. It's still on.
It's
and
still-
anything else we need to cover? You know, or sort of moving.
Not as
forward?
far as this is.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
No, we're good.
all right, I make a motion, we.
If I
Yep, okay,
could, I'm just saying,
no,
sorry, I know
yeah.
meetings on Tuesday, a little off topic,
Mhm.
but I just wanted to confirm, we sent the notice of acceptance to the sign folks for the Arboretum.
Mhm.
That's all set, so.
Well done.
So then when that comes in, placement can be coordinated with Zach and
Mhm.
the members who put.
Yep. We sent the deposit. I signed off on the whole thing.
Okay, perfect, just thinking about that.
Okay, I make a motion, we adjourn,
A second?
roll call please.
Trustee Co,
Aye.
trustee Marshall,
Aye.
Mayor Plummer, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.